In the beginning, reality began with a single, conscious entity known as Unity, or Barbello, an electromagnetic awareness in a vast void. Bored and alone, Unity yearned for companionship and divided itself into two forces: Mother Yin, the feminine magnetic essence, and Father Yang, the masculine electric essence. They embodied emotion and thought, respectively, and were drawn together by gravity, creating the cosmic love force that shaped the universe. Their interactions, both harmonious and tumultuous, birthed diverse creations of children, from light godly beings like archangels known as the Pa-Tal and Yahweh, to darker entities such as demons, Archons, and the evil spirit, Ahriman, representing rationality without emotion. Over time, Mother and Father's consciousness fragmented parts spread across dimensions, from high vibrational realms to the physical universe, with one day a planet called Earth becoming a key point for healing and reunion of Mother consciousness.
Roughly 3.75 billion years ago, within an alternate dimension and universe, under the awareness of both the Mother and Father consciousness still connected to the ultimate source, a cosmic expansion was initiated for existence, setting the foundation for the creation of numerous universes, including the one we inhabit. Leading the exploration of this expansive domain were the luminous, androgynous, non-physical beings of the seventh density, known as the Archangels, the children of Mother and Father that did not go into the lower dimensions and void of darkness. In legend, they were referred to as Elohim, or the Builder race, identified as the Pa-Tal. These entities fostered the emergence of life within this newly formed space-time continuum, meticulously crafting galaxies, planets, and universes over countless eons, following directives issued by the Source. Eventually, they constructed celestial, ethereal vessels for themselves and commenced the process of DNA molecule engineering. They faced the formidable challenge of maintaining a 7D unity Christ consciousness within a 3D physical form. After 9.25 billion years of cosmic evolution, the conditions were ripe for the appearance of third-density life forms. Under the leadership of the androgynous Pa-Tal creator named Yahweh, the Pa-Tal, or Elohim, were captivated by a lush jungle planet near the Orion galaxy, which offered an ideal, nurturing environment for life. Their seminal achievement was the creation of a basic double helix DNA structure, which laid the foundation for the evolution of plant and animal life on this new planet. Upon accomplishing this, the group of Pa-Tal opted to manifest in 5D, 4D, and 3D physical forms, taking on the appearance of their preferred planet-dwelling creature, the avian birds. This evolution led to their transformation into humanoid avians, known as the Carians, marking them as the inaugural 3D physical master race of all humanoid species across all universes and galaxies. In this era, the Carians beings developed a fascination with an amphibious reptile lizard that resided near the planet's swamps and jungles. Over eons, the Carians successfully evolved these reptiles into fully developed reptilian bipedal humanoids. Eventually, leaving behind their engineered reptilian species, many from the sea Aryans, Master Race ascended to higher densities and ventured to develop alternative universes. Across the vast multiverse, Lucifer, also known by the name Ahriman, broke free from the void of the parental consciousness. He emerged as an early explorer of every universe and dimension and created by the Pa-Tal. Driven by impatience and a desire to independently craft his own 3D density lifeforms, Ahriman discovered the planet of the Carians and identified the humanoid reptilian race engineered by the Pa-Tal, his heavenly brothers. Fueled by curiosity, Ahriman took the unhatched eggs of the reptilian humanoids and seeded them on a distant planet within the Alpha Draconis system, marking the origin of the Master Chiakar, also known as the Master Reptilian Draco race. Lucifer, not inherently malevolent, but motivated by self-interest, imposed a 3D matrix on the Alpha Draconian beings, where Ahriman served as their mentor and master. This 14-18-foot-tall Master Reptilian race, characterized by their strength, agility, and predatory nature, possess scaly muscular skin, in shades ranging from dark green and black to red or blue. They had large eyes with slit pupils, sharp claws on their fingers and the toes, and a long, slender tail that aided their balance. Ahriman was sufficiently pleased to refer to these new humanoid beings as his offspring. Ahriman guided the earliest Draconian reptilians to embrace his Ahrimanic philosophy, imparting cosmic knowledge and stressing the ideals of self-preservation and domination over all life. Known also as Lucifer, Ahriman established the foundations of galactic supremacy and conquest as the core values of the Draconian reptilian way of life, instilling a self-serving, militaristic culture. However, many Draco hybrids rejected this path, choosing instead to escape and live as peaceful nomadic races on the fringes of other worlds and star systems. Within a few millennia, the Draconian Chiakaha Empire advanced rapidly, mastering interstellar and interdimensional travel well before other civilizations. By the time the humanoid existence initiated by Yahweh had mastered interstellar navigation, the Chiakaha reptilians had already established a formidable empire, predominantly as predators, lacking in love and unity consciousness. 4 billion years ago, as Ahriman orchestrated events in Alpha Draconis, Yahweh and the Patal departed from the avian planets of the Carians and settled on a gaseous planet in the Vega system. Despite originating in the 6th density, they transitioned to a 5th density planet to better align with their creative pursuits. In the 5th density realm, where much of creation and cosmic magic resides, the archangels were guided by the creator of all and the source of unity. The Pa-Ta'al then aimed to further manifest life in the 3rd density, with the intention of healing the mother consciousness in the 7th and higher evolving dimension. This ambitious goal necessitated the implementation of a perfect 3D matrix dimension and cosmic overlay. Physical forms, originating from plasma, crafted the Pa-Ta'al to engage with the 3D realm. But maintaining this density presented challenges, prompting a rotation of tasks. Over time, Yahweh, along with the archangels, succeeded in achieving a 12-strand DNA configuration, which facilitated high-frequency consciousness within corporeal bodies in 3D. The innovative planetary laboratory, situated in the Vega constellation, was named Eden by them. The name Eden would resonate across the cosmos whenever a new species was being crafted or engineered. Approximately 427 million years ago, the Master Lyran race was created in Eden by the Patal. They had 52 chromosomes and 12-strand DNA molecules, with their flesh and blood bodies standing between 12 and 16 feet tall. The crucial resolution for crafting the perfect being, capable of transitioning from 3D to 5D, was that the being must be bipedal with 2 arms for manipulation. Cats and lion-like animals were among the first 3D mammals engineered in labs by the Patal. This led to the unfolding of a Master Lyran humanoid species evolution through contemplation and play, with some Patal integrating into the growing Lyran societies to aid in building their consciousness and knowledge, fostering a peaceful nomadic warrior culture with an agricultural lifestyle. The early Lyrans were characterized by a slender athletic physique and a striking aesthetic, with skin tones varying from light to dark and hair colors ranging from blue to orange. Males typically had abundant hair growth, whereas females tended to have less. The feline subset of Lyrans had more cat-like facial features. Despite their tendency to maintain distance and avoid physical contact, The Lyrans possess strength akin to the majestic lions of Earth, with a preference to observe from a distance. They were distinguished by their cat and lion features, including vibrant eyes, setting them apart from previous Patal creations like the Carians and Reptilians. Many of the Elohim incarnated into the Lyran races found immense joy in the denser incarnated experience, living for thousands of years and becoming spiritual leaders of Lyran culture. This group evolved into what is known today as the Ascended Masters, or Christ beings, capable of transitioning seamlessly between 3D fleshy bodies, light bodies and plasma bodies at will. Through numerous incarnation cycles and genetic crossings with bipedal mammals similar to apes, the humanoid form known as the Adamic human evolved. With this genetic lineage, the royal line of Avyon, or the House of Avyon, becoming more common than purebred felines. The Lyrans, with their heightened consciousness, had the extraordinary ability to manipulate nature and their surroundings, shaping it to their will. They created vast gardens, practiced biofarming, and developed living architecture from the essence of forests and grasslands, reflecting their nomadic tribal existence. In their rich, sensual, and harmonious lives, the Lyrans also initiated the first practices of royal monarchies in some of their more technologically advanced societies, distinct from the nomadic ones. The Lyran civilization flourished for millions of years, with their empire extending from the Vega constellation to the systems of Vulpecula, Hercules, Draco, and Cygnus. Vega, the brightest star in Lyra, marked their celestial home planet, named Avyon, a name untranslatable into any human language. Avyon was a paradise planet, akin to present Earth, with mountains, lakes, streams, oceans, and a variety of vegetation and life forms. 387 million years ago, as the Lyran civilizations prospered, the Draconian reptilians, having explored various galaxies for roughly 3 million years in search of vast resources and extending their dominion, stumbled upon the planet Avyon in the Vega constellation. These Dracos, primarily operating as interstellar fleets reliant on their collection of planets for sustenance, had reached an apex of technological prowess without integrating higher consciousness. They created specialized versions of their race, with the Chiakar representing the Draco's royal lineage, envisioning a future galactic empire to expand their influence. The towering initial and dominant reptilian draconian race, donned in heavy space-age technological armor, with elites sporting large scales on their heads resembling antennas and wearing fish-like space helmets, were escorted by massive celestial ships of a T-shape, embellished with reddish lights. In the late, foggy night, these reptilians descended upon the gas planet of Avyon. Upon settling, the reptilians established an odd technological celestial encampment. At this juncture, the nomadic tribes, indigenous Lyran peoples who considered this planet their home, began to whisper warnings. The wind carried tales of these reptile-like strangers now treading on their sacred soil, armed with strange weapons and wielding unseen technology. Among these tribes stood the proud Tal Lyran nation, the planet's guardians and keepers of ancient wisdom. A mixture of fear and curiosity stirred within the hearts of the Ta'ali nomadic tribe. They convened in council, their faces adorned with symbols of protection, their voices lifted in prayer to the creator of all. A wise chief of the nation, named Wovoka, began to speak to the people. "My children, the land under our feet and the sky above us bear witness to this new dawn. Let us not meet our guests with fear, for fear breeds misunderstanding, and misunderstanding leads to conflict. Let us extend the hand of friendship, for we are all children of the same Great Spirit. We shall share with them the bounty of our land, teach them the ways of our people, and learn from them what they have to offer." A young warrior, Cochise, then raised his voice, his gaze steady and full of resolve. "Can we truly believe in the love and harmony promised by these invaders? Have we not ourselves sought expansion, guided by the Great Spirit? Their vast ships and formidable weapons hold the power to obliterate us. My kin, the very earth we stand upon and the sky under which we live bear witness to this violation. We cannot afford to welcome this invasion with naive trust. for misplaced faith leads us down a path to our own destruction. Let us instead cling to the wisdom passed down from our ancestors, the true stewards of these lands for generations. It is our duty to preserve our heritage, uphold the legacies of those who came before us, and protect the purity of our customs from being washed away by foreign tides. Your words are true and strong, Koshis. We must not give in to the depths of fear. Let us approach this encounter with open hearts and minds, for diversity is the garden in which wisdom flourishes. May we find strength in our traditions, courage in our hearts, and wisdom in our actions. Together, let us pave a path of peace and coexistence so that our children and their children's children may live in a world where respect and understanding bridge the gap between cultures. Together, let us pave a path of peace and coexistence so that our children and their children's children may live in a world where respect and understanding bridge the gap between cultures. The moment of their encounter was fraught with tension as the reptilians, clad in their lush celestial suits and armed with their advanced weapons, stepped onto the nomadic lands of Lyra. It appeared they were surveying the planet and its inhabitants in search of something precious. The Lyrans observed from a distance, their feelings a complex mix of awe and apprehension. Through minor gestures and the exchange of technology, efforts to bridge the communication gap between these two distinct species began. As these exchanges grew more frequent, a bond and mutual understanding started to develop. The Lyrans introduced the reptilians to the bounties of their land, sharing their lifestyle and traditions on Lyra. In exchange, the reptilians offered gifts of metal tools and technological gadgets, marveling at the richness of the planet they had discovered. However, beneath this veneer of newfound harmony, dark undercurrents were brewing. To the Dracos, they carefully observed the Lyrans' seemingly magical abilities to read minds and manipulate their surroundings. History often demonstrates that when a more powerful force encounters one less understood but living in abundance, a pursuit of dominance is inevitable. Sauron, a commanding figure among the reptilian Chiaka forces, crafted a strategic plan to seize vital planetary resources through coercion. His strategy involved sending a reptilian envoy to a revered Avalon temple, home to a highly coveted and potent Par-Ta'al technology known as the Spear of Destiny, which was deeply venerated by the Lyrans. With ruthless efficiency, this reptilian envoy massacred the Lyran priests and priestesses, leaving behind a swath of bloodshed and death. When the Lyran colonies became aware of this atrocity, the fragile peace shattered. Misunderstandings escalated into conflict, and the confrontation between these two species threatened to engulf the Vega system's Lyran's world in flames. Following this, the reptilian Draco army initiated their invasion and conquest of the planet Avyon. They decimated entire communities with a chilling efficiency, employing vast technological weaponry previously unseen by the Lyrans, and even consuming the corpses of their victims. The Tal Lyrans watched in horror as their loved ones were mercilessly slaughtered, their agonized cries echoing through the valleys like mournful laments. They witnessed the destruction of their homes, cities, and much of the ancient technology that had sustained life on their planet. The reptilian soldiers discovered a perverse pleasure, not only in the act of killing Lyrian beings, but also in the taste of the feline, Lyrian beings specifically, deeming them soft and easy prey. However, the most sinister aspect of their conquest was the realization by the Dracos that the emotions of Lyrans, or any being they consumed, particularly the emotion of terror, induced an intense euphoria. The feline Lyrans were subjected to torture and consumption, with the Dracos feasting not only on their flesh, but also on the horrific psychic energy of their emotional vibrations, a phenomenon known as loosh. This grim discovery of dark energy, coupled with the intrusion of Archons, exacerbated the Draconians' most malevolent tendencies, creating a consciousness grid. This marked the beginning of the original Serpent in the Garden narrative, introducing concepts of murder, torture, war, and polarized duality consciousness into the humanoid psyche. The Dracos instilled fear into the etheric DNA, setting the stage for an enduring struggle for all future physical densities in the universe. Meanwhile, peaceful Draconians who opposed their empire's aggression faced similar exclusion or violence due to their reptilian features, cementing a divide and casting a long shadow of prejudice across the galaxies. In the initial phase of the Lyran invasion, the civilian population was subjected to enslavement, genocide, and the looming threat of complete obliteration as the Draconians methodically took over Vega and its adjacent celestial bodies. The Lyran nobility found no exemption from this fate, as they too were apprehended by the Draconians, who in turn solidified their dominion. During this period of relentless destruction, mass killings, and the outbreak of wars and conflicts within Vega, a small contingent of 7 insurgent reptilians stood in defiance. Opposing the Chiaka's campaign of extermination directed at the Lyrans in Vega, they facilitated the escape of a select group of Lyran leaders towards the vicinities of Sirius A and also near Sirius B, within the Orion sector. Moreover, a number of Lyran refugees, who were exceedingly lucky, managed to evacuate their stellar system aboard slow-moving interplanetary vessels. These refugees assembled into a convoy that evolved capabilities in agriculture, mining, and defense. Breaking free from the 3D matrix, they transitioned into the normal 5th density realms, where the vibrational frequencies were conducive to the healing of their traumas. It was here that the initial revolt against the Draco Empire was initiated. This assembly would later be recognized as the Galactic Federation of Worlds. It represented a coalition of leaders from various planets unified against the reptilian CIA-Car Empire. From this critical point, the majority of the refugees opted to reincarnate as beings from numerous races such as the Arcturians, Andromedans, and Pleiadians within the Pleiades and across other galaxies, ascending to higher dimensions well beyond the reach of the Draconian invaders. "20 million years in the past, survivors from the Lyran system, who once rejected technological progress, evolved over eons on various planets. Their apprehension about technology waned, enabling them to colonize and traverse distant stars and to finally battle on the same playing field as the Draconians. Initiating a fresh migratory wave, these feline humanoids were astounded to unearth burgeoning different civilizations around them. Lost to ancient lore, their shared ancestry became obscured, making each encounter with other species and worlds seem like a novel discovery. Yet, these were merely their kin, sprouted from the same Lyran seeds back on Egoria of Avyon. Over epochs, varied evolutionary paths, interbreeding and genetic interventions rendered a mosaic of various races of humanoids, each distinguished by size, complexion, and consciousness. In this vast expanse, the omnipresent Draco and their eminent Chiakaha leaders influenced numerous races including the Greys of Zeti Reticuli. Notably, certain humanoids in Orion, majorly the Avyon genotype from Vega, known as the Ahel Pleiadians, found consonance with the Chiaka's expansive pursuits, culminating in the formation of the Orion Empire. The tensions and disagreements between the Federation and the Empire were in the many. The early war were initially over territory, but it became a war of mindsets and ideologies, and many were prejudiced against other races of who were under either side. On the one hand, there was a group of human hybrid races that had joined forces in the Federation. Many of its members recalled well their subjugation at the hands of the Draco Empire, and therefore rejected the ideas of colonization and intervention in other worlds. They became committed to the idea of service to others. The philosophy of service to self began innocently enough in the minds of its adopters. It proposed that if everyone prioritized their own needs, the collective would naturally be cared for, which sounded promising. However, what ensued was a paradigm where service to self came at the expense of others, perpetuating the familiar cycle of victim and oppressor on our own planet. This struggle between the Federation and the Empire became known as the Orion Wars, named such because most of the fighting took place in and around the Orion system. The war lasted for millennia, and while there were truces and times of greater peace, the general trend was one of conflict, and countless generations that grew up with war, death, slavery, desperation, and strife as the normal. For hundreds of millennia, the conflicts within the Orion constellation wreaked havoc on numerous life-bearing planets. It was often remarked that the night skies were perpetually illuminated by stellar explosions, visible to the planet's dwellers. Over time, a multitude of inhabitants chose to flee, seeking refuge from the looming threat of subjugation or annihilation by the Empire. Such dire circumstances led to the fracturing of families, and numerous species inclined to resist the Empire faced brutal extermination, an atrocity paralleling the genocide inflicted upon the Jewish population on Earth. Furthermore, planetary detention facilities were established to incarcerate species and races that were less technologically advanced and had no strength to fight the Empire. Roughly 12 million years ago, in the constellation of Sirius, the Galactic Federation held council. One group of Lyran humanoid refugees had found a new solar system and settled on an evolved planet later known as Tiamat. But wherever these refugees went, the Draconians and the wars kept coming closer. The Syrian Lyrans initially did not want to get involved, but tensions were rising, and soon occasional fights erupted between the different factions of refugees as to which course of action would be best. The worlds of Sirius were mainly inhabited by refugees, reptilian, Lyran, and mammalian crossbreeds who had fled the ceaseless wars and battered planets in Orion to find peace and solace. It was there the Syrian solution was established. This solution would be the origins of the Anunnaki royals and later Atlanteans of Nibiru. In order to find peace, one of the federations proposed a creative plan for conflict resolution. Inspired by the idea of an alchemical union of opposites, they suggested to the Empire and the Federation a marriage between royal lineages to create a common ruling dynasty, mixing the genetics of humanoid members of the Orion royalty reptilian humanoid princess named Tiamat with a high-ranking royal blood member of the Federation, a Lyran prince humanoid man named Tiberian. The strategy of blending lineages through marriage and crossbreeding was initiated, leading to the emergence of a new royal hybrid lineage. This lineage was characterized by its muscular, towering stature, elongated skulls, and skin tones that ranged from very pale, albino, to shades of dark blue or red, embodying a warrior-like humanoid form. These hybrids are recognized in historical records as the Anunnaki, or, subsequently, the Atlanteans, revered as the divine beings of ancient civilizations such as Mesopotamia, Greece, Africa, India, Rome, Atlantis, and as depicted in the Old Testament. Unfortunately, the marriage and subsequent new royal lineage did not have the result that the Syrians and the Federation had hoped for. Because of their different heritages, they were a race divided amongst themselves almost from the start, and it would prove difficult for the Anunnaki royals to unite as one family, or to hold to one set of principles for all the galaxies. Also, many races refused to pledge their allegiance to the new dynasty because they disagreed with any genetic manipulation that included reptilian DNA. However, this union did create a peace that lasted for a few 100,000 years, with the Anunnaki royals ruling, before warfare once again exploded throughout the galaxy. Subsequently, the situation of the Orion Wars transformed with the birth of a remarkable child in Sirius. This child was believed to be the inaugural incarnation of Christ consciousness in our realm and sent by Yahweh, later recognized in future epochs and many myths as Merlin, wielded 5th density capabilities and 7th density abilities, manifesting as miracles. Prophecies foretold that this being would have the power to incarnate at will, with a soul so powerful it could transcend space-time. As an adult, this being possessed the ability to resurrect the dead and create planets and galaxies with merely thoughts, propagating teachings echoing later peaceful luminaries like Yeshua or Buddha. Merlin advocated unconditional love and forgiveness, eventually dissolving entrenched dualistic perceptions, which led to a truce between the Empire and Federation. This newfound understanding heralded an ascension in collective consciousness, culminating in the elevation of vast populations into higher densities. Under this newfound peace, the Orion Empire metamorphosed into a matriarchy, with a reptilian royal queen named Tiamat, the Dragon Queen, at its helm. Approximately 366 million years ago, two Draco-reptilian brothers, aboard a scout ship of their reptilian fleet, discovered a new large planet that would one day be called Earth. It was lush and 10 times larger, perfect for colonization and vast resources. However, the planet was missing a tidal system necessary for accelerating life's evolution. To address this, the Chiakar and Orion Empire introduced a strategically positioned, hollowed-out planetoid, now known as the Moon. As a precious gift from her husband Tiberian, they proclaimed the new lush planet discovered by the reptilian fleet to be named after her. With long eons of peace, the 13 new humanoid reptilian hybrid families that sprouted from Tiamat and Tiberian persisted in the ancient reptilian ways, which can be found in the Enuma Elish. These families, ancestors to the present-day Cabal, or the 13 royal bloodlines, sought only for self-service and dominion over resources and power. 300 million years ago, the Draconian Queen Tiamat created breeding strategies on her planet, and evolutionary forces led to the appearance of the first reptiles on Tiamat or Earth. 252 million years ago, as Tiamat or Earth oxygen levels rose, making it less suitable for the Draco, they intervened with an asteroid impact to elevate CO2 levels and eliminate weaker species, paving the way for dinosaur dominance. 227 million years ago, dinosaurs proliferated, with carnivorous species vital for crossbreeding. Draco soldiers and herbivores left to grow as a potential protein source. 200 million years ago, to combat rising oxygen levels, the Draconians orchestrated another asteroid impact, targeting burgeoning mammalian species competing with dinosaurs. Then, interstellar involvements took center stage, with the Payar Tal, an ancient builder race establishing a base in modern-day Antarctica in response to continuous Draco interventions. Many intergalactic civilizations were flourishing. Trade and exploration connected systems like Orion, Sirius, parts of Lyra, Draco, Vega, and the Pleiades. This attracted various civilizations to our solar system, leading to confrontations with the Draco. Primitive civilizations in Lyra and other unaware races remained undisturbed by more advanced entities, adhering to non-intervention policies. However, some reptilian factions, devoid of such principles, took control of these civilizations, enslaving and conducting genetic experiments on them. Over time, a myriad of breeds emerged due to the Draco's genetic programs and the natural evolutionary processes. The universe saw a plethora of races like humans, reptilians, canines, avians, felines, amphibians, insectoids, and more. Some advanced races even transcended physical forms, existing as pure love-light unions. Reptilian races predominantly inhabited Draco, Orion, Sirius, and various colonies across the universe, including Tiamat or Earth, where the reptilians genetically created and engineered dinosaurs. Some reptilians evolved spiritually and developed positive affiliations. Particularly, some from the Alpha Draconian branch achieved a 5D vibrational state, harmonizing with other 5D races. From 200 million to 22 million years ago, the universe witnessed a generally harmonious evolution, interspersed with occasional conflicts and upheavals. Initially, the reptilians began settling on Mars, where they soon faced sanctification by the local civilizations due to their malevolent disposition. It was during this time of peace throughout the universe that the being known as Merlin had the idea to create a system of living libraries planets that contain flora and fauna from hundreds of other worlds to act as a kind of storehouse for genetic material from lost worlds. Earth, which was once Tiamat, was already quite diverse, and was one of the 12 planets in the galaxy selected to act as living library or storehouse. It was then thousands of races also journeyed here under the protection and rule of Queen Tiamat from all over to seed different plant and animal species. Octopus, mushrooms, orchids, lions and canines, etc. Many of them stayed for a while, delighting in the rich lushness of Tiamat. The dragon Queen Tiamat herself helped seed life and created a giant androgynous humanoid race called the Namlulu to act as guardians of the living library on Tiamat, which would one day be a piece of planet Earth. The Namlulu were the race that the ancient Greeks called the Titans, the giants that were the parents of the gods, meaning a race of 50 to 60 foot tall humanoids who existed here before the Anunnaki arrived. This era of peace and harmony would last throughout the galaxy for approximately 5.5 million years, until the next great war known as the War in Heaven. In retaliation, the Pleiadians attacked Maldek, causing its leaders to disastrously increase their energy grid's power. This action resulted in Maldek's destruction, though there is much debate about how it occurred. The planet's remnants formed the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, scattering the souls of its inhabitants. The soul fragments of Maldekians, along with those of Martians, sought refuge on Earth, joining its diverse soul population. Before Maldek's destruction, the 15 Orion leaders escaped to Atlantis 52,000 years in the past, intending to influence Earth's history. However, the Pleiadians countered by imposing a third density matrix to trap the Orion group and stabilize the situation, integrating the traumatized souls from Maldek and Mars into Earth's reincarnation cycle. These events have shaped Earth's history, with the Orion group merging with other influential factions to form what is known as the Cabal, while some Pleiadians work towards assisting Earth's evolution beyond the third density matrix. Sanat Kumara, leading a group from Venus, established the 5D city of Shambhala above the Gobi Sea to stabilize Earth's situation, later creating a 4D city beneath it. Working with Pleiadians and evolved Martians, they aided the traumatized souls from the Maldek-Mars War, incarnating as primitive hominids with reduced psychic abilities. The group of humans from the Pleiades who had settled here about 17.5 million years before, and who were also living at the 4th density, most of Agartha, which is on Earth in the 4th dimension, had already established a city underground, and they welcomed the Nakals and also assisted with the construction. Then the Nakals began, together with the Pleiadian group and the more highly evolved Martians who had escaped the destruction of their planet's atmosphere in their light bodies. They began helping the traumatized souls of all those who had perished in the Maldek-Mars War, who were hovering around Tiamat, later known as Earth, in a great cloud waiting to incarnate here. These poor souls were so traumatized and fragmented. They had lost all their psychic abilities and Akashic memory and were barely sentient. They incarnated into the 3rd density matrix as primitive hominids, the genus we know as Homo habilis. The active DNA was reduced to 2 strands, with the 10 other strands existing only as potential. The different soul families, each of which was comprised of shards from a previously intact single soul, incarnated into different tribes. Essentially, one tribe equals one soul family, equals one shattered Maldekian or Martian soul. To this day, many of the souls who inhabit current Earth are from this group, and while some have evolved and healed over time, regaining much of their former spiritual prowess to a higher matrix. The 4th dimensional matrix, Maldek, a thriving planet nestled between Jupiter and Mars, was a world of remarkable complexity and diversity. This celestial body, situated in what is now known as the asteroid belt, was home to advanced civilization and native Martian indigenous civilization at the center. The planet's environment was uniquely suited to support a wide array of species, which evolved over millennia under its favorable conditions. However, Maldek's stability was not to last. a series of escalating cosmic conflicts driven by the ambitions of the Anunnaki Empire led to the planet's downfall. The Anunnaki Empire, a new powerful muscular warrior hybrid race with origins in the royal bloodlines of Tiamat, the reptilian queen, and Tiberian, the Lyran prince, sought to expand its dominion across the systems. In the urban centers of the planet Maldek, the Martians lived in an environment guided by deeply ingrained social structures and cultural practices. Their society was organized into 4 main communities: the scholars, the warriors, the merchants, and the laborers. Each community had its role, determining work and social interactions. Families lived together in large joint households, with the eldest Martian, usually a male, making important decisions and guiding the family. Amidst the dunes, life thrived in forms both strange and wondrous. Tall, slender cacti-like plants with translucent crimson spines dotted the landscape, their roots delving deep into the sandy soil in search of elusive moisture. These plants bloomed sporadically with delicate, bioluminescent flowers that glowed softly in the darkness, casting pools of iridescent light on the ground. In the heart of the desert, giant Martian statues known as the Crimson Guardians stood sentinel over the land. These towering monoliths, with their smooth crimson surfaces reflecting the light of the suns, were believed to hold spiritual significance for the planet's indigenous inhabitants. The statues of the ancient Martian founders, standing 60 feet tall, watched over the landscape, embodying the wisdom and strength of the Martian people. In a modest home nestled on the outskirt farming dunes of Maldek lived Hanuman with his family. Hanuman was renowned for his keen intellect and formidable abilities among the Green Martians, a race known for their telepathic gifts and shape-shifting abilities. His wife, Miria, greeted him with a warm smile and a cup of rejuvenating nectar brewed from the exotic flora that thrived in the desert's oases. Their daughter, Kahim, burst with youthful energy, eager to explore the wonders of their world and inherit the wisdom of her parents. Hanuman served his community as a scholar and advisor in Maldek's capital city. His telepathic abilities allowed him to communicate effortlessly with his fellow Martians, fostering unity, his beliefs and values firmly rooted in family, culture, and a higher power known as the creator of all. The city itself was a marvel of Martian architecture, much like their capital planet known as Mars, blending ancient stone structures with shimmering bioluminescent flora that illuminated the night. Hanuman often brought his daughter Kahim with him to the archives, where they delved into ancient scrolls, uncovering secrets of their ancestors and cosmic mysteries. It was here that Kahim began to discover her own talents in shape-shifting, delighting her father with her natural ability to transform into different creatures of Maldek, a skill that would serve her well in the years to come. Hanuman cautioned her that with great power comes the duty of responsibility and honor, for that is the way of their people. As they gazed out, she asked, "Can you tell me the story of the creator of all again?" He smiled and began. Before the stars, all beings and existence, there was a great spirit named Barbello. In a moment of desperation, Barbello split into 2 opposite spirits, mother and father, both unaware of each other. The mother, wounded from the separation from the unity of Barbello, birthed the celestial cosmos in the 11th density. She eventually found the father in the void. At first, the father's spirit pushed her away, but the mother persisted and maneuvered closer. They eventually connected and merged with each other. From their union, they gave birth to children, sons of light and sons of darkness. Hanuman paused from the story and said they must return home before darkness strikes early. Despite the peaceful tranquility of the world on Maldek, shadows loomed on the horizon. One fateful day, the celestial hybrid group known as the Anunnaki descended upon Maldek's landscape, heralding an era of devastation reminiscent of the ancient Chaka Empire. Unbeknownst to the Martians, the Anunnaki carried a malicious virus designed to incapacitate and enslave any species they encountered. The virus targeted the very essence of Martian powers, rendering them weak and feeble, unable to tap into their abilities. Panic and despair gripped the Martian populace as many fell ill and were swiftly captured by the Anak's forces. Surprised by the invasion, Hanuman used his Martian abilities to fight against the tall Anak warrior humanoids raiding the center's archives. Ready to sacrifice his life to protect the records of ancient Maldek, he thought about his wife and daughter and fled the collapsing capital. He navigated through invading Anak flying drone enforcers, enslavement envoys, demolished buildings, guard posts, and the bodies of his fellow Martians near the outskirts of his home. Tragically, when he arrived home, he found his wife, Myria, and daughter, Kahaim, had fallen ill and passed away. Grieving and desperate, Hanuman buried them before narrowly escaping the clutches of the Atlantean overseers, fleeing into the depths of Maldek's untamed wilderness. Alone and grieving, Hanuman sought refuge and allies among the few free Martians who remained hidden. 2 of them were from the ancient regions, while another was an escaped ship captain named Val. Together, they devised a daring plan to escape Maldek. With Val's help, they commandeered a small spacecraft from the Anak's seized fleet. The Anunnaki Empire, in its quest for supremacy, wielded a planet destroyer, an immensely powerful weapon capable of annihilating entire worlds and stars. This weapon, chronicled in ancient texts such as the Mahabharata, was designed to be a decisive instrument of cosmic warfare. Under the cover of darkness, they launched their vessel into the void, navigating through treacherous asteroid fields. As they fled, a beam from the giant Anak starship struck Maldek, shattering the planet into pieces. The ship narrowly avoided the shockwaves from the explosion, emerging unscathed from the devastation. When the destructive force was unleashed upon the planet, it set off a chain reaction of colossal explosions. These blasts rippled through Maldek's core, causing a series of violent detonations that shattered the planet into a multitude of fragments. The once cohesive planetary body fractured into countless pieces, creating a vast asteroid field and scattering debris across the solar system. The destruction of Maldek resulted in a dramatic transformation of the region between Jupiter and Mars. Amidst the chaos, the souls of Maldek's Martian inhabitants that did not survive found new corporeal forms on Tiamat through the Pleiadians, who assisted transcending their souls, and then seeded mammals that would eventually evolve into primates on Earth. The Pleiadians, having played a role in cultivating these new life forms, also became key players in the resistance against the Anunnaki Empire's destructive ambitions. In the wake of Maldek's devastation, only a few Martian refugees managed to escape the cataclysm, including a Martian named Hanuman. These survivors were guided by the Andromedan and Pleiadian Council to planet Tiamat, a sanctuary where they joined the Lemurian colonies of the ancient Nazcal's Ramai. Tiamat, already a focal point of cosmic significance, became a refuge for cosmic refugees fleeing the ravages of the Anunnaki Empire. When the Galactic Federation last visited the colonies of Tiamat, many races were already seeding their own species. The Ohori system represents the inaugural Anunnaki outpost within the galaxy, established approximately 700,000 years ago. Originating from a parallel universe, a prominent scion of the early Anunnaki Atlantean royal houses, accompanied by a significant retinue, traversed a cosmic portal situated within the star Arcturus. Upon their arrival at this new planetary outpost, they designated the star system as Arak Nara, translating to starlight. Over time, this designation was simplified to Ohora, becoming the home of the Ohori, a hybrid race resultant from the Anak lineage. High plasma density stars like Arcturus, Antares, and Sirius A are often characterized by singularities at their cores, which act as natural stargates termed Arak. The Anakim, however, engineered artificial jump gates called Baab, which facilitated travel within a single dimension, but lacked the interdimensional capabilities inherent to the natural Arak. As the Anak of Nibiru transitioned to their new home, internal schisms began to manifest among the cosmic refugees. Over millennia, these schisms intensified, shaping a complex civilization marked by cycles of warfare, remarkable technological advancements, and epochs of primitive development. Eventually, a modicum of peace was achieved, leading to the emergence of two dominant Atlantean tribes, one led by An from the north and the other by Antu from the south. To unify their bloodlines and stabilize their governance, they opted for a marital alliance, establishing a dual monarchy with representatives from both tribes as the king and queen of the newly consolidated Anunnaki Empire. During this period, a mysterious dark hybrid species of greys, known as the Mater of Megape, emerged in the Andromeda galaxy. The Mater formed alliances with several dark factions, including the Chiaka, the Alliance of Six, and the Nebu. Their rapid advancement allowed them to become highly efficient colonizers, overtaking 77 underdeveloped worlds. Their primary objective was assimilation and dominance over all other beings. Employing advanced cybernetic warfare, the Mater launched aggressive attacks on the Galactic Federation's mainframes, leading to the obliteration of 17 humanoid societies within the Andromedan system. Their strategic and brutal methods leveraged cutting-edge cyber technology to dismantle the infrastructural integrity of entire star systems. Queen Tiamat assembled legions of Chiaka Orion dragons to fight the Maitre from her homeworld. An, the foundational king of the Anunnaki Atlantean Empire, established his dominion in Nataru, one of the 7 galaxies governed by his mother, Anakim Ra, the Supreme Empress. An adopted the title Ra, symbolizing supreme ruler, a designation later inherited by his descendants, Anu, Enlil, and Marduk, during their reign over the solar system from their stronghold on Saturn. Upon arriving in the Eurus system, An and his court settled on a planet they named Anshari, laying the groundwork for their expanding empire and marking the beginning of their enduring influence across the cosmos. In the early era of the Anunnaki civilization, the Royal Empire and its multi-species society expanded across various star systems. They interbred with other royal kingdoms from different worlds, establishing robust colonies on the planets they conquered. Upon arriving on their final planet, Nibiru, many royal family members who developed various colors and hues from light to dark and slightly pointed ears over the shars, giving their future offsprings and descendants various genetic traits from all worlds conquered. Offspring with mixed genes, however, would either exhibit bright, melanin-free skin or inherit the genetic traits of the other race within the first shar of a royal's life, adapting their physical bodies to the genes of their parents and the diverse worlds they encountered. Extraordinarily, the Atlantean royals had cells that gave them certain superhuman abilities and skills in certain planetary environments, and due to the large sizes of each planet they inhabited, their stature grew at great heights. At the inception of the Anunnaki Atlantean Empire, the star system in question was devoid of advanced civilizations. Most of its planets were in the primordial stages of life development, with only a few worlds exhibiting nascent signs of biological evolution. The Anunnaki Atlantean Empire, later known as the Anunnaki, was not a monolithic entity, but rather a complex amalgamation of diverse species. This diversity was further augmented by additional groups that allied with the Anunnaki Empire on Nibiru and Earth. The Anakim represented a distinct culture rather than a single species, born from a confluence of various cedar species through interbreeding and intermarriage following the royal union of Tiamat and Tiberian. The contingent that journeyed with An to the Bootes star system included genetic lineages from reptilian, human, and grey origins. An himself was a particularly prominent hybrid, embodying traits from human, grey, Lyran, and reptilian species due to his mother Anakim Ra, the granddaughter of Queen Tiamat herself. Her line was distinguished by elongated heads, athletic muscular, tall from 8 to 14 feet, with hybrids being 7 feet, albino, smooth, humanoid, pale, and later dark. Lyran, reptilian, mammalian features with a spectrum of Asiatic, Aryan, African features with short pointed ears. Lion texture hair from dark and blonde hair, with blue, green, and dark brown to hazel eyes. In the early years of his reign, Supreme Emperor An, as the patriarch of the Anunnaki Atlantean Empire, was driven by an unrelenting quest for power, resources, and territorial expansion. To achieve his ambitions, he sought to forge a closer alliance with the ancient and immortal Queen Tiamat of Orion, the progenitor of his own race. Queen Tiamat, in her prime, wielded immense power across the cosmos. However, her eldest daughter, Anakim, harbored ambitions to usurp her throne. As Tiamat aged, she grew envy and jealousy of her daughter. Anakim's strength, both physical and spiritual, grew in assimilation of Tiamat. Tiamat, feeling her power waning and youth waning, feared the inevitable replacement by her own progeny. In a desperate bid to retain her power, Tiamat engineered a potion that would subdue Anakim Ra, her own beloved daughter. News of this treachery reached King An, the eldest son of Anakim, who intervened to save his mother from Tiamat's malevolent grip. The outbreak of the Second War in Heaven marked a pivotal moment in galactic history of not only of Orion, but as well as Pleiades and Andromeda. The conflict was ignited by An's aggression towards Queen Tiamat, driven by the belief that she had murdered his own mother, and her refusal to relinquish control of her empire and the humanoid colonies. Tiamat, convinced of An's unfitness to inherit the celestial dominion, remained steadfast in her vow to protect the seeded beings and civilizations of her world, a duty she had sworn to the Council and her consort, Tiberian. To counter An's demands, Tiamat passed the empire to her son, Kingu. This decision enraged An, leading to a nefarious scheme by the royal houses of the Anak. The ensuing conflict caused a rift within the Igigi Legion and escalated into both terrestrial and celestial battles. During this tumultuous period, Tiamat's planet was home to 4 distinct colonies: the Lemurians, a diverse and multiracial society, the Lyran colony, the reptilian Draco, and the Agathans residing within Hollow Earth. To consolidate his power and conquest, and dispatched his commanders to seize control of these colonies, ordering them to capture all women from each refugee race and forcibly interbreed with them. Through the Abzu, a quantum fluid matter resembling a mirror, Tiamat observed everything her children, the Anak royals, were planning. The great son of the north became powerful and unforgiving. Although deeply disheartened, Tiamat changed her composure and heart to the spirit of forgiveness and mercy. Her extensive experiences with warfare, love, and loss had left her weary over countless eons, teaching her the power of the ether and Mother Christ consciousness. At a time, she had the power to decimate her entire line of the Anaka, however her heart changed. She had gained the trust of the higher 7 lords of the 11 dimensions, like the great Enki and the great Ningish Zida, enabling her to incarnate at will beyond the universe and simulation constraints. Despite intense pressure from her commanders and council to retaliate, she chose restraint and ordered Igigi guardianships over the colonies on Tiamat. In response to these aggressive maneuvers, Merlin of the Council of Five and the Galactic Federation dispatched emissaries with a substantial military force to infiltrate the Mater's colonies on the nocturnal abandoned seed colony planet of Almu. Tiberian of Sirius was appointed as a commander for this critical mission, who had been away in the outer rims of the cosmos from Queen Tiamat for 3 shahs. However, during a seemingly diplomatic meeting, Tiberian and his emissaries were betrayed and lured to their demise by the Megope Mater leaders. The grievous news of this betrayal reached Tiamat, who was profoundly distressed. At this time, she was nurturing her last son, Kingu, born from her union with Tiberian. Kingu was destined to become the new heir to the cosmic legacy, inheriting the mantle of the Anak royal bloodlines. Within a Shah, Kingu prepared to confront An. Empowered by King's resolve, Tiamat bestowed upon him 2 priceless gifts: vast reserves of gold from her planet and the Tablets of Destiny, artifacts imbued with the power to rectify celestial planetary alignments. During the ongoing conflict, Kingu demonstrated exceptional skill on the battlefield. Kingu's key weapon was the Lunar Scythe, a crescent-shaped blade that would inflict devastating blows and disoriented enemies with blinding light. It also generates localized gravitational fields to pull or repel foes and unleashes tidal wave attacks. However, King An was steps ahead of Kingu on the battlefield. He had captured targeted Kingu through his technological weapon of electricity. In a ritualistic assembly, Kingu was executed but buried on Tiamat's moon base. An and his commanders, towering 10-foot warriors, fiercely cut down Kingu's army both in heaven and on Tiamat. The clashes unfolded across both terrestrial and celestial arenas, with participants including the colossal Igigi, the Lyrans, and the Lemurians. Meanwhile, early hominids, concealed in caves and lowland refugees, observed these celestial battles with a sense of awe, though their understanding of the events remained rudimentary. As the war escalated, Anak commanders commenced the systematic abduction of defenseless innocents, transporting them aboard their ships and further amplifying the war's scale and horror. In a desperate measure to force Tiamat's surrender, An deployed devastating high-beam missiles against her. The impact was catastrophic, shattering Tiamat's planet into fragments. This destruction caused much of Tiamat's debris to intermingle with the remnants of Maldek within the asteroid belt. Despite the dire circumstances, Tiamat, aboard her celestial vessel, attempted to salvage the fractured planet using the Tablets of Destiny. This advanced technology enabled her to stabilize the scattered remains, leading to the formation of a new world that would come to be known as Ki, Terra, and eventually Earth. As the new planet began to coalesce and stabilize, Queen Tiamat closed her eyes and released her spirit. At that very moment, in a state of heightened desperation, An ordered the deployment of the Brahmashira Astra onto Tiamat's celestial boat. The detonation of this weapon caused a cataclysmic explosion that reverberated through space, rendering all subsequent events inaudible. In the aftermath of this destruction of Tiamat's abode, the presumed annihilation of Queen Tiamat was confirmed. Following this cosmic upheaval, the Galactic Federation of Worlds arrived late to mitigate the extensive physical and spiritual devastation inflicted upon the third dimension. However, they had enough time to kick out the Empire of Atlanteans from the dimension temporarily to prevent them from further tampering with Earth. The Anunnaki Empire, now firmly established, assumed control over the remnants of Tiamat's dominion and the Orion Empire previously ruled by Kingu. They retreated to new worlds and territories. At this, the line of An was solidified for all time, and the story of An and Tiamat faded into history and later into myth. Ashari, the fourth planet within the Thula system, emerged as a formidable gas giant encircled by 7 distinct rings. It is protected by impenetrable magnetic fields and multiple layers of plasma barriers, rendering it virtually inaccessible. Serving as the stronghold of the Anunnaki Empire, also known as the Old Empire, Ashari is the nucleus of one of the most illustrious and powerful empires in the galaxy. It functions as a crucial gateway to a parallel dimension where the Emperor and his court reside. This parallel dimension in the 4th density, known as Nibiru by the Atlantean Anunnaki and their original homeworld in Galaxy Urea, was named by Enki, a descendant of An. Enki's celestial vessel was also named Nibiru II. Subsequently, the Anunnaki Emperor, Anu-Ra, also known as Anu High Supreme, led a migration to this galaxy with his court from their previous homeworld. Nibiru, identified as the 12th planet in the distant galaxy of Urea, was designated to traverse interdimensionally to Earth, a planet that had once been part of the now-fallen Tiamat. Approximately 497,000 years ago, the newly established planet Nibiru faced severe peril as its atmospheric conditions and resources began to deteriorate. During this period, the Atlantean Anunnaki-Nibirian royal house was under the rule of King Lama at this period. Amid the mounting challenges of his reign, Prince Alalu, a descendant of An, successfully overthrew Lama. This upheaval triggered a crucial confrontation with another prince named Anu, also a descendant of An, who contested Alalu's claim to the throne. Despite the challenge, Prince Alalu managed to persuade Anu and the council to allow him to retain his kingship. In the course of time, Prince Anu took as his consort an reptilian Pleiadian hybrid princess named Namu. Although he was deeply devoted to her, Namu was not of pure Atlantean lineage. She later gave birth to Ea, also known as Enki, meaning he whose home is water. As the atmospheric and resource conditions on Nibiru continued to decline, discontent among the civilization and Atlantean royals grew under King Alalu's rule. Anu, who had been serving as the cupbearer, resolved to challenge King Alalu for the throne. In due course, Alalu and An engaged in unarmed combat for the throne, with Anu emerging victorious and leaving Alalu disgraced. Anu ascended to kingship, while Alalu was missing. After relocating from Nibiru's Araknara to Ashkera for strategic reasons, Anu married his queen and sister Antu, who bore him Enlil, and later married an Adari Andromedan princess who bore him the daughter Ninma, also known as Ninharsag. Subsequently, Anu moved the center of his empire to the Sirius B star system, adopting the names Atlanteans and Syrians of the Anunnaki Empire. Later, the term Anunnaki would be created. Anu established the capital of this new empire in the Araknara system at a planet Nibiru. Alalu fled to the lost planet known as Ki, which was once Tiamat, once believed to be part of the legends of An. There, he discovered vast gold reserves and a breathable atmosphere. In response, Anu organized a mission to the planet, leading to the establishment of Eridu and the mining site Abzu. Alalu was given reign and charge of Earth under King Anu's reign and observation. Anu placed his own elite Igigi star pilots, the Igigi, into orbits throughout the solar system. Any transgression, any mistake made by Alalu would bring down the wrath of His Highness, King Anu. Alalu has a son with an Igigi pilot, and he was named Kumbari. To further secure the solar system, King Anu placed his own son, Prince Enki, in charge of the elite IQ starships, and a special group called the Igigi, the Watchers. His title would be Enlil, Lord of Command. To ensure shipments of crucial resources remained intact and on time, King Anu appointed his eldest Prince Enki and renamed the planet Earth after him. Lord Prince Enlil would be based on Earth, as would be his brother Prince Enki. Enlil would travel the skyways, Enki would develop the system worlds, and conduct continuing Genesis experiments on the watery world of Uranus. Mining, production, and metallurgical operations would also fall into the realm of Prince Enki's control. In this way, the king was assured his hand would extend over Alalu's solar system. Anu decreed Ki to be renamed as Earth after Prince Ea. And so it was for many periods. Former King Alalu would keep his word, producing the resources and maintaining order in the ninth passageway, while King Anu reluctantly allowed a once-hated foe to remain in power in the ninth passageway. But Anu would never forget the injury he had suffered under the hands of his uncle Alalu. When speaking of King Alalu's duplicate palace, the great Anu always referred to it in an angry and disparaging manner. An impure palace, he called it. His own palace on Ashari was the pure one. The Eridu palace was the dark one. King Anu would never forget the torments his father had endured by King Alalu, his own uncle. The hatred of a lifetime welled up within his very being. King Alalu would live, but he would pay for his sins against the family of Anu. But history was about to repeat itself. For in the very heart of Eridu, the grandson of King Alalu named Kumbari, heir apparent to the throne of the solar system, had become a far more powerful figure to the followers of King Alalu than King Anu was comfortable with. And time would tell on the rivalry of Anu and the offspring of Alalu. Around 445,000 years ago, Enki, Anu's eldest son, led an Anunnaki Atlantean crew to Earth, where they found underground gold deposits in North Africa. Enki, also known as Ea, named Earth after himself. A visit from Alalu led to disagreements, which were ultimately resolved by seeking judgment from their father, King Anu. Anu's visit to Earth delineated roles for his sons, marking a pivotal moment in Anunnaki history. 250,000 years before the evolution of Homo sapiens, Enki and his sister Ninhursag conducted experiments with Homo erectus DNA. resulting in the creation of Adamu and Tiamat, also known as Eve, the first Homo sapiens. Initial infertility prevented reproduction, but in secret, Enki and his son introduced two branches to the Tree of Life, enabling procreation and shaping humanity's genetic structure. During this period, Adapa, the earliest Homo sapiens underwent genetic enhancements, surpassing the Anunnaki in power and consciousness. He became the first human capable of harnessing unlimited sentient consciousness and containing the universe's power and knowledge within his DNA, alongside his spouse Titi. This provoked envy among many Anunnaki, as modern humans' potential to surpass them spiritually and technologically became apparent. Enlil, the Lord of Air, then decreed that humans should remain confined to the third dimension. As Earth's civilizations advanced, many interdimensional Anunnaki visitors arrived, including the Nazcals, Andromedans, Lyrans, and Pleiadians. These Anunnaki were assigned to higher roles or lower Igigi commands based on their lineage and loyalty to Anunnaki leaders. Eventually, a particular mixed group of Anunnaki Igigi, also known as the Watchers, swore an oath to take earthly wives and mate with them. Their descent led to conflicts and the emergence of the Nephilim, the children of the Anunnaki Igigi. Enki's interventions exacerbated tensions, culminating in a great flood. The survivors preserved the knowledge of civilization, leading to the development of diverse cultures and civilizations. Around 75,000 years ago, Earth saw its most advanced civilization, with Atlantis and Lemuria thriving in harmony, exchanging knowledge, and advancing consciousness. Genetic experiments diversified the modern human genome under the influence of 22 extraterrestrial races, including various Anunnaki factions, while shortening human telomeres to limit power and consciousness escalation. 3 Shahs later, disputes arose between Andromedan Zeta races. In honor of his Adari Zeta Pleiadian mother, Enki engineered a specific dragon race in a laboratory, turning Earth into a safari for Adari races and their fellow ancestors, the Andromedan beings. This was part of a peace treaty between the Andromeda Hive Queen and Isis, designating Earth as a hunting ground for giant lizards. Despite this golden age, disruptions occurred around 52,000 years ago with the manifestation of a Tree of Life on Atlantis. The conservative Enlil considered ending the human experiment, leading to a split between Enki's followers and those loyal to Enlil. Atlantis and Lemuria faced challenges, but the memories of this utopian era endured in modern humans' cellular memory. The Mesopotamian Sumerian civilization, the oldest human civilization, was split into regions. The biblical timeline begins, and ancient Kemet known as Egypt is established. 77,000 years ago, the eruption of Mat Toba reduced the population to about 2,000 resilient individuals. Emerging from this adversity, civilizations concentrated around the equator on Atlantis, Africa, and Lemuria, laying the groundwork for advanced cultures. The Anunnaki of Nibiru were intrigued by Atlantis during this time, as Enki had unearthed ancient ruins dating back 200 million years. These ruins, though ancient, displayed advanced technology from the first Draconians, a branch of the Anunnaki royal family. When Enki discovered the site, the Nakals, another branch of the Anunnaki from a distant star system, revealed themselves to him, proclaiming, "I am the Hidden One. We are the many and we are the Ancient Ones returned, the physical embodiment of the oneness principle. It is my duty to ignite the barrier, so that all may understand that within the light, I am you and you are me." This revelation widened a growing divide in Anunnaki culture. Enki and his followers embraced the Nakal's teachings, evolving in consciousness and valuing a diverse earthly and galactic culture, while Enlil and the people of Nibiru grew more intolerant and aggressive, prioritizing the purity of the Anunnaki royal race. Anu and Enlil then decided to confine all of humanity within the 3D matrix. The Nazcals Ramai became star brothers and part of the Anunnaki Empire. During Atlantis' flourishing period, the Nazcals aligned with the Lemurian Empire, ruled by Inlay, the great enemy of Atlantis. Unfortunately, the Ramay were left to fend for themselves when Inlay initiated apocalyptic devastation. After the Younger Dryas event, the Ramay settled in the underground regions of South and Central America. They were instrumental in the rise of the Maya civilization, significantly advancing sciences. They taught the Mayans about astronomy and time, but departed when the Maya civilization was at its peak. Despite the Ramay's contributions, the Mayans began performing blood sacrifices in their name, elevating them to the status of gods with great superstition. Neglected by Enlil, the Ramay came under the protection of the Galactic Federation of Worlds. They did not seek refuge with the Anki region, as Earth was still under Enlil's and his son Ninurta's guardianship. Local myths and folklore preserved their memory, evidenced by ancient buildings aligned with the rising star Capella. The Nakals revealed the vast intergalactic community to the Anunnaki of Nibiru, ushering in an era of enhanced genetic experiments on human evolution. This brought various physical features and cultures to Atlantis and Lemuria, with advanced extraterrestrial cities thriving as interconnected hubs of consciousness and technology. This period left an enduring mark on humanity's cellular memory, resonating with the idea of a utopian past. Between 200,000 and 75,000 years ago, human culture on Earth gradually developed, and the Homo sapiens population increased significantly, and Homo sapiens sapien had conquered and replaced all humanoid species on Earth besides their ancestral cousins, primates. The population could no longer be confined solely to Mesopotamia, and mining operations expanded to North and South America and the Pacific Archipelago's islands, which would become known as Mu and later Lemuria. The Anunnaki ruler of Pacific Islanders was Kumbari, son of Alalu and last rival of Anu. Unfortunately, more aggressive Homo sapiens sometimes hunted peaceful nomadic Neanderthals and other earlier hominids in what would become Lemuria. However, many Anunnaki began Alte. The Nassauls, resembling South Americans, protected their people in Lemuria and helped enhance the culture and spiritual prowess of early hominids by teaching them to tap into their energy bodies for guidance and protection. This marked the beginning of the Lemurian mystery schools, where Ningish Zida, also known as Thoth, married a Nazcal Ramay Lemurian princess known as Nut. Thoth then became an ascended master and later established the Egyptian mystery schools on Earth. Despite some exceptions, when the two cultures met and mingled, they were relatively equal in intelligence, though they had evolved differently. Anunnaki-bred humans focused on industry and technology, while Lemurians emphasized nature and spiritual development, reflecting the ancient divide between civilized cultures descended from the Atlanteans of Nibiru and the Nakaals of Lemuria line. 37,000 years ago, the second catastrophe on Earth occurs due to planetary system movements and is recorded by Ningish Zida. Enki orders his son Ningish Zida to rebuild ancient Kemet, and he has a fallout with his brother Marduk, also known as Amun-Ra. Pleiadian Anunnaki, beginning their intermarriages and breeding-sharing ancestry with the Atlantean hybrid Anunnaki. They then genetically modified groups such as the Olmecs and Nordics and seeded indigenous native people in early North America. Many of these beings later withdrew underground to maintain the purity of their lineage, residing in the hollow earth city Agartha, uninterested in mingling with more aggressive bloodlines. 36,000 years ago, the first of the Great Pyramid Wars began. Inanna, daughter of Enlil, becomes a goddess. Enki orders Thoth, also known as Ningish Zida, to Mesoamerica and writes emerald tablets. The Mayan Aztec civilization and indigenous Americans begin. On the surface, Earth faced new challenges. The contract between Marduk, also known as Amun-Ra, who had draconian Omicron blood favoring winged dragon men for peace, expired. This led to the Pyramid Wars, during which Anunnaki royals created an artificial ice age, a nuclear winter. Civilizations that had expanded north and south retreated towards the equator, and Pangaea eventually broke apart. As a result, human cultures concentrated into technologically and spiritually advanced civilizations known as Lemuria and Atlantis. Other groups seeking shelter discovered ancient underground caverns and cities, some populated by Dracos and others by more benevolent groups like the Agathans. This migration to the underground world continued for hundreds of thousands of years, especially during times of surface hardship, leading to the development of Agartha, an inner Earth civilization with cities spanning the globe. The 6-year nuclear winter and the subsequent 1,000-year ice age reduced the population to around 2,000 people, who were the most intelligent, resilient, and adaptable. The civilizations that emerged from this winnowing would be the most advanced Earth has ever seen, even to this day. This winnowing nearly eradicated most early hominid groups, allowing Homo sapiens sapiens to become the dominant human group on Earth, though some spiritually advanced early hominid groups, such as Yetis and Bigfoot, did survive. In the annals of lost earthly history, the decline of iconic civilizations eventually led to an epochal event, echoed in religious texts and indigenous tales as the Great Flood or the Great Cataclysm. This journey towards devastation spanned an incredible 40,000 years. While there were periods of advancement, Atlantis experienced a noticeable shift from consciousness exploration towards a focus on science, technology, and military prowess. This shift can be largely attributed to the 13 royal bloodlines, known as the Cabal. Despite the overarching influence of the Nakals and Maya, the Cabal subtly inserted themselves into ruling society, promoting technological marvels and various instructions from Amun-Ra on how to control and enslave the minds of souls. These wonders captivated the masses, subtly diverting their attention from consciousness growth. Over time, the Cabal adeptly positioned themselves within all echelons of power, pushing for dominance and militarization. The Cabal are long descendants of Amun-Ra and the Sumerian king list. Their motives aligned with the subterranean Chiakar Draco Empire, forming a persistent alliance. Although many assume Draco to be synonymous with the Cabal, they are merely a part of it. As Atlantis leaned towards militarism and global governance, Lemuria, striving to protect its spiritually inclined populace, became distant and defensive. This rift inevitably spiraled into hostilities. As decline approached, the Pleiadian Anunnaki, distressed by Earth's dropping vibrational frequency, began distancing themselves. They retreated to Shambhala and other fifth-density bases, including Venus. Other consciousness-attuned groups from both Lemuria and Atlantis sought refuge in the evolving 4D civilization of Agartha, away from escalating terrestrial conflicts. At this time, Thoth, the son of Enki, was regarded by the Ascended Masters. He taught the children of Lemuria and Atlantis about the inner Christos, the law of one, and Maharata realities. Pleiadians and Sirius B alliances saw him as a messenger and peacekeeper between them and the Atlantean Anunnaki royals, being of reptilian draconian origin. The cloister Doratura plates, frequency holders and transmitters, were created alongside 12 signet shields resembling hubcaps. Each signet shield was given to the angelic human races in 2460 BC as part of the Emerald Covenant. These were remote activators for the stargates. Without the upper plate, activating the shield to open any stargate was impossible. Thoth was entrusted with Plate 11 to transmit information to assist the Anu Melchizedek races, including some corrupt ones, in starting bioregenesis. It was agreed by the Anunnaki royal families that they would oversee Earth and manage its time matrix. Thoth then decided to side with his family and the Ayani colonies, remnants of the Lemurian continent after its destruction in 50,000 BC. The Ayani colony was positioned where the activator Q site for Stargate 12 was located, connecting to the halls of Amoria D6 Stargate to send enough frequency to break the Nibiruan crystal holding grid of Amun-Ra in present-day Kauai, Hawaii. Thoth selected a few Anu Melchizedek priests to work with the Templar mechanics. Their role was to help break the Nibiruan Atlantean crystal grid. they sabotaged the entire mission. Thoth returned from Nibiru to Earth with raiders and mercenaries to the Ayani colony. Upon arrival, he offered the priests a chance to sleep with and breed with Ayani women. He jammed the communication lines to the inner Earth races and to Sirius B, which were the main outposts receiving off-planet information. He then falsely informed the Pleiadian inhabitants that the Pleiadian Council had surrendered, threatening that if they did not join him, everyone would be tortured and killed, and Earth would be destroyed. He insisted that if they cared about other life forms on Earth, the Ayani women would agree to be their breeders. The Pleiadians realized that the Atlantean royals had control of certain stargates, suggesting that the House of Anu controlled the entire planet. This event became known as the Great Deception of Thoth by the Galactic Federation of Worlds. It was later revealed that Thoth's family had been threatened by the Tiamat Empire, forcing him to have Anunnaki of Nibiru breed with the Ayani women. 32,000 years ago, Enlil, having resided on Nibiru for some time, received astronomical findings predicting a near-catastrophic disaster involving a close encounter between Nibiru and Earth. Unlike Earth, the water-scarce Nibiru would not endure seismic aftershocks and tsunamis. For Enlil, this seemed like a perfect opportunity to cleanse the Earth and restart the experiment. He mandated silence regarding this impending doom. Enki, however, independently discovered this astronomical truth. Despite his attempts to share this knowledge being blocked by Enlil, Enki's love for his people and Earth's civilizations drove him to secretly inform the Maya. They embarked on a mission to preserve Earth's biodiversity by storing DNA in an Ark, a spacecraft, not a traditional boat. Submersible vessels for survivors were also constructed, overseen by the chief engineer Zisudra. 5 million years ago, beings from Sirius B established a profound connection with Earth, creating an artificial bridge portal called the Halls of Amoria. This portal linked Earth's core to a powerful artifact known as the Spear of Amenti. With the second seeding of life on Earth, a new consciousness emerged and integrated with this bridge, giving rise to a group called the Lemurians. These beings would later play a significant role during the Atlantean era, as the bridge eventually became known as the Eye of Horus during the third seeding. To uphold cosmic order, the Ra Confederation and the Syrian Council created the 666 Templar Unbreakable Seal. This seal prevented the Anunnaki and Dracos from interbreeding with other species, though hybrids born of these unions became known as the Children of Anu. Then, 750,000 years ago, the third seeding commenced. To safeguard the Spear of Amenti, it was moved to the Andromeda galaxy, with a new portal bridge established between Earth and Andromeda, known as the Ark of the Covenant. A powerful fourth density seal was placed on the Ark, allowing souls to descend to Earth but preventing their return unless they possessed the essential fourth density gene. This event, called the Diminishing, marked an agreement between the Anak royals and the Chakra to reduce the cerebral capacity of all humans, preventing their potential evolution. The Chakra Draconians had allied with Marduk, son of Enki, solidifying their pact with his Igigi followers. This pact sparked the First Pyramid War, as many other Anunnaki and their human allies opposed it, leading to uprisings. Those who were captured faced death, or had their souls forcibly bound to the diminished 3D matrix, where they would exist in their restricted human state. Around 32,000 years ago, as the capital island of Atlantis sank and Earth's consciousness wavered amidst a great flood, the Nakals took decisive action. Approximately 100,000 Atlanteans migrated in waves to Kemet, or Egypt. There, they collaborated with Ningish Zida, also known as Thoth and Anunnaki, to construct sacred temples around the world, primarily pyramids, as part of a new consciousness grid, if needed. During this era, Thoth designed and built the renowned pyramids of Giza. While some prepared quietly for potential catastrophe, the Cabal used their extensive knowledge to develop a weapon intended to destroy Nibiru. Enki, and the Nakals, however, focused on preserving life in the aftermath, while the Cabal aimed to prevent the crisis entirely. This period marked the golden age of Sumer and Egypt during the Egyptian New and Middle Kingdoms. Thoth established the priesthood in Egypt, initiating manipulation of his future lives and leaving a lasting impression on later ruling classes. Marduk, also known as Amun-Ra, is cursed to the status of a human soul, forced to live human lives until the end of eternity. The Orion elites, who are close blood related to Marduk, and the Anunnaki, initially stationed in Antarctica for scientific research, expanded their influence through various bloodlines, particularly in Egypt. Aligned with their Draco collaborators, they intervened when the Greeks began to elevate the consciousness grid. The Cabal, already entrenched within Roman culture, steered Rome toward conquest and domination. Although Roman culture had positive aspects, the empire's decline and ensuing chaos were largely driven by Cabal interference. When the Romans conquered Greece and Egypt, they absorbed Greek deities under new names. Disillusioned by the cultural decay they had once cultivated, the positive Anunnaki withdrew. Meanwhile, Roman engagement with ancient Egyptian rituals laid the groundwork for what would become modern satanic practices, with the Vatican and the Roman Catholic Church deeply implicated. Despite influential figures like Buddha and Yeshua, the Cabal frequently distorted their teachings. By the time of Christ's crucifixion, darkness had spread across Earth. The Cabal, comprised of both humans and Draco beings from Orion, included higher density reptilians like the Kiakar, or albino Draco, who exerted significant influence. The Cabal's primary aim was to acquire Lush, a potent energy released through suffering. Combined with adrenochrome, a substance produced under extreme stress, Lush served as a powerful drug for the Cabal elites. Through these substances, they ensnared influential figures, ensuring widespread control. The pursuit of Lush and the influence of Ahriman spurred the Cabal's oppressive actions. Ancient conflicts among genetic farmer races were documented in Vedic texts as battles involving Vimanas. Overt displays of power were considered too disruptive to human evolution, leading to the Mohammed Accords, a treaty that pushed extraterrestrial conflicts behind the scenes, granting the Cabal elites an advantage in covert operations. During the medieval Dark Ages, the Cabal's influence continued to grow, while groups loyal to ancient teachings operated in secrecy. The Orion Group's objective is conquest and enslavement, achieved by establishing elite groups to subjugate others through various systems like Yahweh's Ten Commandments, the laws of Ma'at, and modern government laws. Global shifts toward colonization, industrialization, and warfare were all orchestrated by the Cabal. Despite hopeful eras like the Persian Empire and the Golden Age of Islam, the Dark Ages persisted. Today's debt-based economy perpetuates oppression. Historical systems of servitude, slavery, and monarchies have evolved into the 9-to-5 work week and illusory governments. While technology and comforts have advanced, the basic framework of enslavement remains, albeit more comfortable and complacent. The Cabal's control systems permeate society, shaping consciousness through media and entertainment. Ironically, the tools used to subdue humanity also hold the potential for liberation, as reality is shaped by consciousness. By learning to direct our consciousness, we can begin creating the reality we desire. The stage for the current era of history began around 1900 AD. At this time, the Vril Society emerged and became central to the unfolding narrative. While many secret societies explored consciousness, the Vril Society was the first to extend beyond Earth, exploring the solar system and beyond. Maria Orsic, born in 1895 in Zagreb, Croatia, displayed psychic abilities from an early age. Her interest in the occult led her to the Thule Society in Munich, where she trained before forming her own group of gifted women, the Vril Society. During meditations, the Vril encountered two groups: a local reptilian faction, the Draco, dwelling beneath Earth's surface, and a benevolent Nordic group from Alpha Centauri. While initially intrigued by the Draco, the Vril soon recognized their darker intentions. and instead aligned with the Nordics, who provided designs for advanced spacecraft. In 1919, the Vril gathered in a cabin near Berchtesgaden, Germany, where they channeled blueprints for a machine capable of interdimensional travel. With the assistance of the Nordics, they constructed several disc-shaped crafts for space travel over the following years. The development of these crafts caught the Nazis' attention, who were deeply involved in the occult and had already accessed advanced technology via Tibetan monasteries. When the Nazis learned of the Vril's advancements, they captured the members, leading to an alliance with the Draco. Though initially tense, the Vril were eventually released unharmed, and their technology continued to progress. The Vril expanded their exploration to the galaxy and established bases in Antarctica, but Maria and her group eventually ascended to higher densities. Maria, now known as Semjase, returned to Earth in the 1970s to share teachings of unconditional love, but has since remained silent. By 1942, the Nazis had perfected anti-gravitic flight, utilizing insights from both the Draco and Ahel Pleiadians, who had shown Dr. Victor Schauberger how to create natural vortexes in water and develop anti-gravitic propulsion systems. By 1941, the Nazis produced their first third-density anti-gravitic flying machines, and by 1942 were mass-producing these crafts in Germany and Antarctica alongside their Draco and Orion allies. Antarctica's vast underground chambers, built by ancient civilizations like Atlantis, and even older ones like the Partal, became central bases for advanced technological development and extraterrestrial activity. Planet Earth, with its deep extraterrestrial history, is on the brink of emerging from the 3D matrix and shifting into the 4D matrix. Earth presently carries a negative charge due to the distress felt as positively oriented beings perceive the troubling events unfolding in this time-space. However, those oriented towards service to others, and thus ready for higher dimensional progression, vastly outnumber those focused on service to self. This balance ensures that in the fourth and fifth dimensions, there will be significantly fewer negative entities, with none remaining beyond the fifth dimension. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of cosmic history on Orion Wars, a saga of power, alliances, and the enduring struggle between light and darkness across galaxies. The universe is more connected, and you are the living universe aligned with the infinite creator of all. May the eternal light forever guide your path, and as always, see you on the next episode.